Ready to upgrade your life? We're going deep on 10 areas you can actually improve, like your well-being, finances, and more.
We've got a source packed with
It's
advice.
like a cheat sheet for personal development.
Right. We're talking physical health, mental and emotional well-being, relationships,
Career and work-life balance, finances,
time management, personal growth and learning,
mhm,
spirituality and inner peace.
social life and community involvement, and hobbies and recreation.
Woo! That's a lot.
But the cool part? These areas are all connected.
You improve one, chances are others get a boost too.
Exactly. No need to tackle it all at once.
Find that one area that's calling you.
The one that feels most important right now, and start there.
Makes sense.
So let's start with something we all know we should prioritize. Physical health.
Okay.
This source had a really interesting take on why it matters so much.
Oh.
Did you know that even being a little dehydrated can mess with your decision-making?
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like that afternoon slump you feel.
Yeah.
It might not just be tiredness. It could be your brain struggling because you haven't had enough water.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
Me neither. Makes you realize how important it is to stay hydrated all day long.
Absolutely. And it ties into this idea that physical health isn't just about looks.
Right.
It's about having the energy and mental clarity to actually enjoy your life.
Totally. Now, I'm all for drinking more water, but there was another tip I loved, incorporating a 30-minute walk into your daily routine.
Yes, even if you have a busy schedule.
Exactly. The source really emphasizes that it doesn't need to be a crazy workout.
Right.
Even moderate activity can have big benefits for both your physical and mental health.
I like that.
And it feels more realistic than trying to squeeze in an hour at the gym every day.
Totally agree. It's about finding what works for your life and being consistent.
Small changes over time make a bigger difference than going all out and burning out.
Absolutely.
Okay, now let's shift to mental and emotional well-being, which can be tough with the stress of modern life.
For sure.
There's tons of advice about managing stress, but this source dives into the power of journaling,
Oh, interesting.
but not just any journaling.
What kind then?
They suggest writing for just 5 minutes a day about a positive experience you had.
So simple.
Right. But apparently, it can actually rewire your brain to focus on the good,
Wow.
leading to less stress and more happiness.
So it's not about venting your feelings, it's about actively cultivating positive emotions,
Exactly. Training your brain to see and enjoy the good things.
which can then impact your overall well-being.
Right. It feels very doable, even if you've never been a big journaler before.
I like that.
Okay, now on to a topic close to my heart. Relationships.
Ooh, juicy.
It's easy to feel connected through social media these days, but the source raised a red flag about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it points out that while social media can be great for keeping in touch, it can also give us a false sense of connection.
Interesting.
We might have hundreds of friends online,
Yeah.
but are we truly nurturing those deep, meaningful relationships that are so vital for our well-being?
That's a good point.
I think a lot of us, myself included, get caught up in the online world and forget to prioritize real-life interactions.
It's so easy to do.
Right. And the source actually had some pretty concerning stats about how people are losing close friends.
Oh, wow.
It made me think about who I need to reconnect with.
Me too.
And it doesn't have to be complicated, right? Just a quick call or text can make a difference.
Absolutely. It's about being intentional and putting in the effort.
To nurture the relationships that truly matter.
Not just about quantity, but quality time.
Being present, listening actively, making people feel heard.
Love that.
All right, now let's tackle something that can be a major stressor. Careers and work-life balance.
Uh-oh, here we go.
It feels like everyone's struggling to find that sweet spot these days.
It's a constant battle.
But this source had some cool insights, particularly about investing in yourself,
Like how?
taking online courses.
Ah, okay.
It can open up new career paths and give you a sense of personal fulfillment.
So it's about taking charge of your career and constantly learning and growing.
Exactly. It's empowering to know you're not stuck, that you can learn new skills and maybe even change careers.
I like that.
Especially in today's job market, you need to be adaptable and keep learning to stay ahead.
Absolutely. And it's not just formal education.
True.
Could be reading, podcasts, workshops, even conversations with people in your field.
Okay, now for a topic I'm not great at, finances.
Ooh, money talk.
I'm terrible at budgeting, but this source had a tip that might even work for me.
I'm all ears.
It's about visualizing your savings goal.
Okay.
Like, let's say you're saving for a vacation.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on denying yourself things, you focus on the joy you'll feel on that trip.
Interesting.
It makes saving feel less like deprivation and more like an investment in future
I
happiness.
love that. Shifting your mindset from scarcity to abundance.
And it connects to this idea that budgeting isn't about restricting yourself.
Right.
It's about empowering yourself to spend on what truly matters.
Aligning your spending with your values.
Okay, now something we can all relate to. Time management.
Ugh, never enough hours in the day.
Right. But the source offered a classic but effective tool, the planner.
Ah, yes, the trusty planner.
Whether it's physical or digital, having a system for scheduling and deadlines can be a game changer.
Definitely.
I love lists. Just getting everything out of my head and onto paper helps me feel organized.
Like decluttering your mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you can prioritize tasks based on urgency and importance.
The Eisenhower matrix.
Right. It's a great tool for making sure you're focusing your energy where it matters most.
Absolutely.
Now on to something essential for continuous growth, personal growth and learning.
Okay, tell me more.
It's about so much more than just acquiring knowledge.
Right.
It's about becoming a more well-rounded and interesting person.
I like that.
And the source makes a strong case for the power of reading.
Oh, yeah. Books are amazing.
Even just one book a month can expose you to new ideas, perspectives, and knowledge that can enrich your life.
I'm a huge bookworm myself.
Me too. And it doesn't have to be heavy literature. It could be fiction, nonfiction, biographies,
Yeah.
anything that sparks your curiosity.
Or even articles or blogs. There's so much information out there.
Right. It's just about finding what resonates with you.
Exactly. And learning should be enjoyable, not a chore.
Okay, now let's move to a topic that's become more popular recently.
Hmm.
Spirituality and inner peace.
This is a good one.
It's about connecting with yourself on a deeper level.
More than just religion.
Exactly. And the source emphasizes finding practices that help you quiet your mind and be present.
Like what?
Things like mindfulness and meditation.
I've heard those are great for mental and physical health.
They are. I've been trying to be more mindful, and it really makes a difference.
How so?
Just taking a few moments to focus on my breath and be fully present helps me feel more grounded and peaceful.
Yeah, it's like hitting the reset button.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be a formal meditation practice.
Right.
It could be something as simple as taking a walk in nature and really paying attention to your surroundings.
Disconnecting from technology and reconnecting with the natural world.
Exactly. It's about finding those practices that help you feel more centered and connected to something bigger.
I like that.
Okay, now let's talk about something that can be tough,
Mm-hmm.
especially for introverts. Social life and community involvement,
It's important, but it can be challenging.
for sure. But this source really highlights the importance of putting yourself out there and engaging with your community.
Like how?
Joining a local club, attending events, or even just striking up conversations with people you meet.
You mean like in everyday life?
Yeah, I think we often forget to reach out and connect with others.
We get caught up in our own bubbles.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be about making tons of new friends.
Right.
It could just be about expanding your social circle, meeting new people, and having interesting conversations.
Sometimes even a quick chat can brighten your day.
Absolutely. And then there's volunteering.
Ah, yes, giving back.
It's a fantastic way to give back to your community, meet like-minded people, and feel good about making a difference.
I love that. It's a win-win situation.
Totally. You're helping others and enriching your own life in the process.
Okay, now for something that's pure joy, hobbies and recreation.
Yes. It's easy to let these things go in today's busy world,
They often end up at the bottom of the to-do list.
but they're so crucial for our overall well-being.
For sure.
This source emphasizes making time for activities that bring us joy and help us de-stress.
Like what?
And it suggests trying new things, stepping out of your comfort zone, and exploring different activities.
To see what sparks your interest.
I think we often get stuck in routines and forget to make time for things that make us feel alive and passionate,
It's about remembering what brings you joy.
and scheduling it in, just like any other appointment.
Oh, that's a good tip. Otherwise, it's so easy to let it slip.
Okay, so we've covered a lot in this first part of our deep dive.
We have.
We've explored 10 areas where you can make positive changes in your life.
And we've just scratched the surface. Wow, that was a lot to take in. Ready for even more tips and strategies for improving these 10 areas?
Absolutely. Let's jump back in. We left off talking about hobbies and recreation,
Right.
and it made me think of another great piece of advice from the source, the power of micro-adventures.
Ah, yes. Those little bursts of adventure you can squeeze into everyday life.
Exactly. Even if you don't have time for a big vacation.
Right.
The source gave examples like trying a new restaurant in your city or exploring a park you've never been to.
Oh, I like that.
It's all about shaking things up and adding some spontaneity to your routine.
It's like that saying, adventure is out there.
Exactly. And it ties back to continuous learning and growth, right?
Mm.
Even small adventures can broaden your perspective.
Speaking of being open to new experiences, let's circle back to physical health. We
Okay.
talked about hydration and exercise, but the source also goes into nutrition.
Ah, yes. The food we fuel our bodies with.
It can be tough to eat healthy with a busy schedule,
It is
but the source suggests something called habit stacking.
habit stacking. What's that?
It's basically attaching a new healthy habit to an existing one.
So, like, if you always have coffee in the morning, you could add drinking a glass of water with it.
You got it. Making healthy choices easier by integrating them into your routine.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm definitely trying that one.
It's a good one.
What other nutrition tips did the source have?
Well, there was one about being mindful of your eating environment.
Mindful of your eating environment. What does that mean?
Well, the source points out that we tend to eat more when we're distracted.
Ooh, like when you're watching TV.
Exactly. Or scrolling through your phone.
Oh, I am so guilty of that.
It happens. But by creating a more mindful eating space,
Yeah.
like sitting at a table with no distractions, we can actually tune in to our hunger cues
That makes sense.
and make better choices about how much we eat.
It's about being present with your food, not just mindlessly snacking.
Now, remember earlier when we talked about seeking professional help when needed?
Yes, especially for mental and emotional well-being.
The source really emphasizes that there's no shame in reaching out for support.
So
We all go through tough times, and sometimes we need a little extra help.
there's still so much stigma around mental health.
It's true, but asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness.
Absolutely. And there are so many types of support available now.
For sure.
It doesn't have to be traditional therapy.
Yep.
There are support groups, online resources, even apps that can help.
It's about finding what works for you and feeling comfortable.
The source also talks about self-compassion.
Yes.
We can be so hard on ourselves,
Way too hard.
but we need to treat ourselves with the same kindness we'd offer a friend.
Right. Acknowledge mistakes, learn, and move on.
Okay, so we've talked about taking care of ourselves physically and mentally.
Yes.
What about our relationships?
Oh, those are important.
The source has some good advice on strengthening those bonds.
Like what?
One thing that stood out was the importance of quality time. But not just any quality time. Intentional quality time.
Intentional.
Yeah, the source suggests planning activities that foster connection rather than just passively being together.
Okay, so instead of just watching TV together.
Right. You might play a board game or cook a meal together or even go for a walk and have a deep conversation.
It's about being present and engaged.
Exactly. Creating shared experiences that strengthen those bonds.
I like that.
The source also mentions expressing appreciation for the people in your life.
Oh, that's so true. We often take loved ones for granted.
It's easy to do.
But a simple thank you or a genuine compliment can make someone feel loved.
It's about those little gestures that show you care.
Now, let's talk about work-life balance, a real challenge these days.
It feels impossible sometimes.
The source really stresses setting boundaries.
Boundaries.
Yeah, like creating a dedicated workspace if possible,
Okay.
and setting clear work hours.
So no more checking emails in bed.
Try to avoid it. It's about protecting your personal time
I see.
and being fully present when you're not working.
Makes sense.
The source also suggests taking breaks throughout the day.
Breaks are so important.
They are. Even just 5 minutes to step away can help.
Like hitting the reset button.
Now, we talked about finances earlier.
Yeah, budgeting and saving.
The source also goes into debt.
Ugh, debt.
It can feel overwhelming.
It does. Where do you even begin?
The source says to start small, even if it's just a small extra payment each month.
Okay, so even small steps can make a difference.
Exactly. It's about taking control one step at a time.
And being patient, right?
Yes. It takes time to get out of debt, so celebrate your progress along the way.
Focus on the positive.
Now, let's move on to time management, or rather, poor time management.
We've all been there.
Feeling like there's just not enough time.
Way too much to do.
The source suggests time blocking, scheduling blocks of time for specific tasks.
So instead of a to-do list, you actually assign a time slot for each item.
Precisely. Helps you stay focused and avoid distractions.
I like it.
The source also talks about single tasking.
Oof, that's a tough one for me. I'm a master multitasker.
But multitasking actually makes us less efficient.
Really?
When you're doing too many things at once, you end up doing none of them well.
So it's quality over quantity.
Now let's chat about personal growth and learning.
Always room for improvement.
The source stresses continuous learning but suggests going beyond just books and courses.
Like what?
Seeking out mentors or coaches who can guide you.
Oh, having someone to bounce ideas off of and get feedback from.
It can be so valuable.
Okay.
And attending industry events or conferences to network and learn from others in your field.
Expanding your horizons, connecting with people who share your interests.
Now let's talk about something near and dear to me. Spirituality and inner peace.
Oh yes, finding that calm amidst the chaos.
The source has some lovely advice on how to cultivate these qualities.
Like what?
Things like meditation or yoga to quiet the mind and connect with the present.
I've been meditating more lately, and it really helps me feel grounded.
It's amazing what a little stillness can do.
Right. The source also talks about spending time in nature.
Ah, nature is the best medicine.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's like it recharges my batteries and helps me feel more connected to something bigger.
It's a great way to find that inner peace.
Now, for something that can be challenging, especially for introverts like me,
What's that?
social life and community involvement. I know it's important, but it can also be draining.
The source emphasizes the benefits of social connection.
Okay.
Nurturing our relationships and connecting with people who share our interests.
So things like joining a book club, a hiking group, or volunteering.
Exactly. Finding activities that bring you joy and allow you to connect with like-minded people.
It doesn't have to be about big parties or being super outgoing.
Right. It's about finding your tribe and connecting authentically.
And we've come full circle back to hobbies and recreation.
Ah, those fun things.
It's so easy to let them slide when life gets busy.
It's true.
The source suggests actually scheduling time for them in your calendar.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Right. Make them a priority.
And let go of the need to be perfect.
Yes. Enjoy the process and have fun.
We've covered so much ground in this part of our deep dive.
We have explored more tips and strategies for improving those 10 key areas of life.
And I hope you're seeing the connections between them,
How improving one area can positively impact the others.
like a ripple effect.
Exactly. Wow, we've really explored a lot in this deep dive into improving your life.
We have 10 areas. Can you believe it?
And what's really interesting to me is how interconnected they all are.
Right. Like, it's not just about improving one thing in isolation.
Exactly. It's about creating a life that feels good, balanced and fulfilling in all these different areas.
Absolutely. And it's so easy to get caught up in just like checking things off a list.
Yeah, like, okay, I did my 30 minutes of exercise. Check.
But it's not about that. It's about the bigger picture.
Right. It's about how all these pieces fit together to create a life you actually enjoy.
I think we've all heard a lot of this advice before, right? Like, drink more water, exercise, blah, blah, blah.
It's true. But the challenge is actually doing it.
Yes. And that's where this source is so helpful. It gives you actual strategies, things you can actually do to make changes.
It's not just about knowing what to do. It's about actually putting it into practice.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be this huge, overwhelming thing.
All right. Just choose one small thing
Yeah.
and start today.
Maybe it's drinking an extra glass of water or scheduling 15 minutes for yourself to just relax.
Or finally calling that friend you've been meaning to catch up with.
Exactly. It's about taking those small steps and building momentum.
And I think that's so key. Proving to yourself that you can change, that you can make progress.
And remember, it's not always going to be easy.
Oh, yeah. There will definitely be ups and downs.
Setbacks, challenges.
Exactly. The key is to be kind to yourself throughout the process.
Don't beat yourself up if you miss a day of exercise or eat a whole bag of chips.
We've all been there. Just acknowledge it, learn from it, and keep going.
And remember, you don't have to do this all alone.
That's such a good point. There are so many resources out there to support you.
Books, podcasts, online communities, therapists, coaches.
It can feel overwhelming, but it's also amazing to have so many options.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, we want to leave you with a question.
Ooh, I like questions.
Imagine you had a magic wand and could instantly improve one of these 10 areas of your life.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Which area would you choose?
And more importantly, why? What is it about that area that feels most important to you right now?
Once you figure that out, you can start brainstorming specific actions you can take.
Remember, change takes time, effort, and consistency, but it's so worth it.
The rewards are incredible. More happiness, fulfillment, stronger relationships.
A more fulfilling career and a deeper connection with yourself.
So keep diving deep, keep exploring, keep growing.
And never stop striving to become the best version of yourself.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep living your best life.